It is Friday morning. Good morning. Welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Steve Casillo and the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. Today we are talking with Dr. Joseph Adams from Calibration, Chiropractic, and Functional Health right here in Mansfield, Texas. Wave hello to the people.
To the people. Hello, people. Good morning.
And for the past 12 weeks, we do these 10-minute shots. So 10 times 12, we're talking 120 minutes. We have done 2 hours on migraines. And today, just so people don't have to scroll back through 12 segments and 2 hours of content, what I thought we would do today is maybe just do a review and kind of wrap up our series on our continuing education on migraines. And so if we want to go all the way back to the beginning, we were talking about triggers and what triggers migraines: muscular, nutrition, neurological, and hormonal. Let's go and start with the review of the trigger points.
Yeah, so there's all these different groupings of things that can set off a migraine attack. And if we remember, migraine patients are just very sensitive in general. It's a progressive neurological disease. There's no cures for it. You have a very sensitive brain, and you have these groupings of triggers. And so the first one is structural or muscular. And if you remember, Steve, we talked a lot about stretching the neck. So that's a really simple one.
The SOT muscles.
That's right. The SOT muscles, the triangular muscles up here at the top, very involved in migraines and in headaches. So if you have head pain, there's a high probability you need to stretch your neck, period. So that's a big takeaway from this. Stretch your neck. Don't sit all day long, cooped up in this posture, stressing out. It's a good recipe for problems. The second one is nutrition. And there's a lot in nutrition. We spend a good amount of time on that. And if I was going to give any one particular advice about nutrition, it would be that you need to watch your blood sugar management. I get a lot of migraineurs in the office walking through the door, and I'm like, well, tell me about your diet. And like, oh yeah, like barely have a chance to eat, because unfortunately a lot of times migraine sufferers are in the most productive and busiest parts of their lives. So they're usually females with kids. And so when you're a mom with young kids, it can be hard to get any basic things accomplished, including, eating sometimes on a regular schedule.
So when you say blood sugar, it's low blood, not low blood sugar, not eating too much of the sugary cereals that where you've got too much.
Well, you go either way. So you don't want, basically with blood sugar, you want to be like leveled out as much as possible through the day. So you don't really want to, if you don't eat, then now you dip, right? You overeat too much, that's a problem too. Okay. You just don't want to, you do not want to stress your brain out with basically its nutrition supply, which is your blood sugar. So you just don't want to overdo it either way. But the one I see most of all is just skipping meals. And skipping meals is a really good way to set you up for problems, especially if you throw a little caffeine in there, right? You skip a meal, throw some extra caffeine in there, now you got a problem. Yeah, exactly. So that's another one that's really important when we're talking about nutrition. Not only that, but you can just do a quick Google search and you'll find all sorts of very well-established things that can trigger migraines, like alcohol, wine, cheeses, processed meats, things like that. I would say that the next one that we need to talk about is eyes. If you have eye dysfunction, whether you have migraines or headaches, the number one thing that I see clinically, and it's all over the research with head pain, is if your eyes don't work like they're supposed to, you're going to have more problems than you need to. And so getting evaluated by your optometrist, getting a functional evaluation of your eyes, your dynamic vision, which we do here, is another very good option to look at.
And does that, so the eyes, that's more muscular, is it not? Because your eyes may not be aligned properly. Nutrition, but the third one we talked about was neurological triggers and how that affects migraines.
Yeah, and so that's a big part of the eyes really is that neurology. The other stuff, within neurology besides your balance, people who get dizzy, like we talked about, though a lot of those finer neurological things have to be analyzed by a practitioner. There's not as much you can do at home for a lot of the neurological aspects of it, unless you remember the device that we talked about.
Oh yeah.
The Yep, that device is a really good way to handle the neurological side of things. Um, it is a vagal nerve stimulation device, and it is called a Gamma Core Sapphire, and you can actually lease those through us, and it's a very good option. It's more affordable than most migraine medications. No side effects. Actually, comes with a lot of positive side effects.
Oh,
So
nice. Nice.
people are reporting that
Looks
they
like a
like it.
taser, but it doesn't act like
Oh
a
my!
taser, right?
You're right. You're right. It is. It's totally like a taser, man. It's literally like zapping your neck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another a really good one is that vagal stim device for the neurological component. And then the last one is hormones. And that's the most complicated piece of the puzzle. And that's one that I send out a lot for. I refer a lot out for hormone management because hormones are a big part or can be a big part of a migraine disorder. And if we think that's one of the bigger parts for you, then you need to see a provider who's very good at managing hormones. And those providers sometimes are a challenge to find.
And in going back through the episodes, really all five senses play into migraines. You talked about the muscular and the neurological of having to do with the eyes. That's sight.
Mhm.
Hearing has a lot to do with what kind of environment are you in terms of sound. Touch, taste, and smell are all parts of migraines. You want to touch on those?
Yeah, so all of these sensory systems are what are sensitive in a migraine patient, right? So if you have a sensitive brain because you're a migraine patient, well, what is getting sensitized? Well, it's your vision, right? So it's too much light can bother you. So you may want to dampen that with blue light blocking tech on phones, screens, glasses. You may be really sensitive to sound, and so you may need to be wearing earplugs. So if you're in a heavily a lot of noise pollution area, earplugs is going to dampen that. Taste, I don't see as much with that. Smell, for sure, staying away from strong smelling perfumes. Chemicals can aggravate people. Hearing, the other aspect of that too is that hearing nerve is the same nerve responsible for balance.
Hmm.
And so you can be sensitive to your balance can be sensitive, and that can create issues for you as well. So all these senses are really important. You can kind of go through them and make decisions on how you can dampen the input coming in to help manage a migraine disorder.
Why did you decide to get into migraines? This seems to be a very, very special field, a specialty field, and you're knee deep in it. Probably, as I've been calling you, Mansfield's foremost expert on migraines. Why did you decide to get into migraines?
Ooh, so I had a one particular patient who just really challenged me because chiropractic has always been so good at headaches, right? And so when you get a patient and the chiropractic doesn't work, and they're struggling, I mean, they're having migraines or head pain, 50, 60, 70% of the month. I mean, they're always in head pain. And you can't help somebody like that. It just makes you go looking for answers. And that's pretty much what I've been doing is every migraine patient that comes through over the years that we weren't able to help as much as I'd like to, I go and figure out why. And I learn from all of these cases. And I'm always constantly looking for new avenues to help these patients because I've taken care of so many. And there's nothing worse than having head pain because you can't run from head pain.
Right.
It's totally different from having back pain. I mean, your back pain, it's down there in your back. If you have a headache or head pain or a migraine, that is right where you live. That's where you spend all of your time in your head, right? And that pain's right on top of you. And in my opinion, there's really nothing worse. And So that's kind of how I got into it, is just feeling this immense compassion for mostly women who are suffering with awful head pain and not having many answers.
Wow. Nice. Is there anything that you want to conclude with in terms of migraines, and then we'll get into contact and wrap up our series?
Yeah, I'd say that, the biggest thing, if you suffer from migraines, head pain, headaches, is self-care. You've got to get self-care, and you need a team of people to help you get through a lot of these situations. And because it is a complex disorder, and I would say that majority of migraine head pain cases, like probably 70%, are going to respond very quickly to just chiropractic care. So the ones that don't, you definitely need to see somebody like me, because there's a lot more going on than just structure.
And if someone wanted to see someone like you, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so we're everywhere, but the easiest way probably to get in touch with us is on our website, calibrationmansfield.com, or on social media platforms, Calibration CFH on Instagram. So we're here to help, and we always offer a complimentary consultation. You come sit down with me 10-15 minutes. I'll tell you if I think I can help. Not, I'll refer you to somebody who's better suited to help you with your issues.
That's Dr. Joseph Adams, Calibration Chiropractic and Functional Health, right here in Mansfield, Texas. And that puts a wrap on our 13-week series of migraines. Now, next week, I'm taking the week off. Got this little thing going on called my daughter's wedding.
Little
And
thing, yeah.
yeah, little thing. And so we'll be back in 2 weeks with something different.
Yep.
Yeah. Appreciate your time, Dr. Joe, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, take care.
Mm-hmm.